weird.
Yeah.
Just fucking take it.
Yeah.
Although Eddie Griffin did warn me that Obama was going to make us all zombies, or there was going to be a chip or something like that. Crazy though. That was 3 years ago, and he said it was going to be the next year, and it still hasn't happened. But you know how the government is.
Well, I know how Eddie Griffin is. He's always right.
Yeah, that's right.
Every
baby.
time. Name one thing he's predicted that he's been wrong about.
You're right.
You
Read
can't.
your book.
That is such a funny story. Tell it. Tell it for
He was.
everyone.
This was like years ago. I was opening for Eddie Griffin, and he started. He would go really long. He would do like 3 hour. He would literally do on the late shows 3 hours when he's supposed to do an hour. So people were there. It was like, you're delirious, and he's closing his set, and right before the set, it was what was the exact? He starts quoting scripture, and he just starts saying, like, from the Bible, and he just starts saying, like, he quotes something, and then his interpretation of it is that, like, I'm butchering this. It was like something like zombies are gonna come back, or what? Do you remember what the fucking what it was?
No, this is your story. I didn't think you would fuck it up.
I fucked it up horribly. I bungled it big time. All right, let me take it again. All right.
Oh, now I have to edit that out? You're assuming this is like a professional operation where I've got like tape delay?
I don't remember.
I have some intern that's... How does it... Every podcast has like an intern that got too many piercings.
I don't know, but we should get one.
Yeah. So I want it just so we have the guy like, come on, Mike.
Yeah.
That guy that doesn't get a microphone. That
we should yell at someone.
on.
We should pretend someone's here.
Richie, you fucking idiot.
That's good. Richie's a good one.
Richie's 32 years old. Looks like he's 17. He looks like he's always on his way to Warp Tour. That's every podcast intern.
That is true. Because they're all audio people.
Yeah. Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah.
They're trying to be Skrillex.
Exactly.
And they wound up producing podcasts.
But Eddie Griffin is saying, like, so Eddie Griffin is taking forever, and he starts quoting scripture, and then he says that, like, oh, it was because we allowed gay marriage or something that we were gonna start and he quotes some scripture that says, because of gay marriage, people were going to be zombies. That it was like, the undead shall come back from the dead in the time of sins. And his interpretation, and it's just some old... this is insane. You know what I mean? Just insane shit. And some old black woman in the crowd starts clapping and going, read your book. like it's fucking... Like, that is true. Like, what he said was in the Bible. Like, I don't even think what he was talking about was even remotely in there. And she was just like, read your book. Your book. It's like Saturday at 2 a.m. It was one of the most hilarious. And I'm sitting there just waiting to fucking close the show. He said some other great stuff. It's been so long I forgot it, but really good stuff about a chip. And
who's the worst comic you've worked with?
Like, worst personally, or worst like
who's the shittiest comic you've worked with? You don't have to name names. You can just describe their act and, you know, what they look like and what credits they might have, and then we can put it together.
I don't know. I mean, I guess if you, I used to open for a lot of, I mean, when you're starting out, you just open for a lot of shitty local headliners. But in terms of like national headliners, I've had some fun. I mean, there's some people who just like do their same act from like fucking.
That was going to be my answer, that everyone I worked with has been great. And I appreciate the opportunities.
No, I worked with one guy who he was doing his same hour from like, 8 years ago. Yeah. And he was just like...
Nothing wrong with that, by the way.
Huh?
That's fine. You don't need to write new stuff. If it's gold...
Yeah, if it's gold, stories about...
If it plays, it stays, folks. That's comedy rule number 3.
And which is whatever, like, honestly, whatever. If that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. But he was like shitting on me for doing the same feature set every time.
What the fuck?
I swear to God, he was like, "Oh, same stuff." I would come off stage, he'd be like, "Oh, nice, same act, huh?" And I was like, "I've heard this. I remember this act from when I was in fucking middle school, and you're gonna shit on me." I think he was probably just like an insecure, piece of shit.
I remember one time one of those guys that Irwin booked for remember EJ's?
Hell yes, baby.
EJ's
EJ's Landing.
Dude, it's EJ's
First
Landing.
open mic I ever did was at EJ's Landing, a seafood
shit.
restaurant in College Park.
I used to run the mic across the street at College Park
Mm-hmm.
beforehand, and then I would go with Jordan Owens,
Oh
so
yes.
he could do karaoke at EJ's Landing. And yeah, so EJ's Landing is like a nautical themed bar in
Now it's the Varsity Lounge, by the way.
Oh, is
it's
it?
gone, unfortunately.
Okay, well, it used to be like a nautical themed bar in the lobby of what at the time was the Best Western, and then they lost their franchise, and then it was a Clarion.
I think it's a Clarion still.
No,
Real?
they lost the Clarion, and then they just had like a tarp over the logo that was like the College Park Hotel or something like that. They just didn't have like I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
The laptop's dying, but yeah. So Irwin took that room and started booking people there, like bringing in headliners, and he brought in this fucking hypnotist from like Cleveland,
Yes.
who drove there in his like 92 Civic, you know, all the way from Cleveland to headline the karaoke bar. And
I mean, no one would ever be at those shows, too.
no one
Irwin
at all.
charged like $10 a head.
Yeah, it was. So the audience is me, Jordan, and then like this guy and his fucking fiance or something. So there's four of us there. And the hypnotist goes on stage and he's like, I'm the amazing fucking dickhead or whatever his name is. And he's like, I need 4 volunteers from the audience. Yeah, can I get 4 volunteers? So, you know, Irwin's like looking around. He's like, come on, everybody. Why, get up on the stage, everybody.
Irwin, for everyone who doesn't know, is
Morbidly obese. He looks like he likes to compare himself to Ron Jeremy. He's like, I look like Ron Jeremy, which like once you take away the dick, that's an insult.
That's horrible. Yeah,
You don't want to look
Ron
like
Jeremy looks terrible, but he looks like a fatter Ron Jeremy.
Yeah, you look a fatter fucking Super Mario Ron Jeremy looking dude.
Right.
And so he's like, somebody get on the stage. And so we
Which the stage, by the way, there's no stage.
Yeah,
it's the front of the karaoke bar.
Yeah. They just turned some of the chairs around to face. So we're sitting there, and it's like he's like a hypnotist, and he's going through all these like motions. You know, he's like, now I want you to breathe in, breathe out, close your eyes, and we're all sitting there, and he's got like some stupid music playing, and he's giving you commands, but they're like preparation commands. They're like, you know, it's almost like you're sitting in like a yoga studio. He's like, lean back, now lean forward, or whatever. And he goes on. He does.
So you're doing it, right? Is everyone
you're
going
doing
up?
it. You're like Yeah, we're all on stage.
Okay.
Yeah, it's me,
so there's
Jordan.
no one in the audience right now.
No. Halfway through this, like 2 like black dudes came in and sat down, and yeah, so we're on stage. He's like doing all this, like, you know, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, and then eventually he goes like, and sleep, and he like pushes your head down, and then that's when you realize like, oh, I'm supposed to be hypnotized now, and I'm not. And like, you know, he's like, now you cluck like a chicken or whatever, but you've already been listening to him tell you to do things, and then you realize like, I'm supposed to be hypnotized, and you're like, cock-a-doodle-doo. You know, like, 'cause, you know, like, you don't want to like ruin this guy's fucking.
Do you think anyone was hypnotized?
The girl was?
Really?
And I had to like reach down her shirt at one point. He like made me sexually assault her.
Jeez.
As part of the hypnotism, which I was fine with.
Yeah.
It's
That's part of the act.
It's not illegal if it's, you know.
Under hypnosis. Your Honor.
I was
Your Honor, I was under hypnosis when I sucked off that 7-year-old kid.
The hypnotism.
Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. You're just wearing a fucking, you just wrap your head in like a Swami's hat or whatever the fuck.
Well, it goes to show you that the only way to be hypnotized is if you're asking for it.
That's right.
You got to be somebody that
Weak
wants it.
mind.